Hey, I'm Jessica Nicole McLaurin, and welcome to Free Friday. That's FFRE for Faith, Finance, and Real Estate. So I'm here with my lovely husband.
I'm Michael McLaurin.
And we are back for part two of buying and selling homes as is. Where we left off last week was the pro of buying a home in its as-is state, allowing for customization. So you can customize it to your personal liking, but we also said to be careful because if you plan to sell later, a buyer-specific home where you have all these customized this customized look of your home, it could reduce your buyer pool because it is buyer specific. So that is where we left off. And where we want to pick up is faster process. I think we probably spoke on this last week, but of course with this being an as is home, and meaning that there will be no negotiation on repairs, it just makes the process faster. So a lot of times with as-is homes, it's not the typical amount of days to get to closing. Also, instant equity. I think we mentioned this last week as well. You know, when you redo or buy an as-is home and you put in the renovations, that's instant equity. You know, or in other words, your house becomes worth more than you owe on it. So before we move on, you have anything, or we're gonna
So the faster process could really be good when you're trying to get out of your home quick, especially a home that needs repairs. I think, especially for, this is mostly geared toward investors. Investors usually like to close quick because they want to start quick so they can finish quick, so that they can get it back on the market quick and hopefully sell it quick. Because as an investor, the longer you hold it means more costs, whether that be utility costs, whether that be finding more unknown issues, whether that be market turning, whether it be if you have a hard money loan. Hard money loans are just loans that you can get for properties for investors that you can get to buy and renovate the house.
Those loans are, a lot of the hard money loans, they're not intended to last long. They're intended for people who plan to pay back soon. After it's flipped.
And they are at a higher interest rate. So usually if you have $100,000 loan, your payment may be $1,200 a month, and that's every month.
And what percentage has our experience been?
I think 13. Well, nope.
And I was thinking maybe 12%.
Yes, so I think it's like 12, 13. So those are usually, because it's a higher risk, so it's usually a higher interest rate. But selling faster, especially if you're in a position to where you need to offload your home quickly. And it depends on, like we said earlier, depending on what's the nature of the repairs that needs to be done. If it's something minor as need to switch out a light fixture or something like that, need to switch out a plug, got a leaky faucet, like you can do that kind of quickly. That shouldn't deter somebody. But if it's something as bad as foundation and you got major cracks in your wall, you can see some noticeable shifting, things of that nature, your HVAC unit, you can tell that it's shot and you probably gonna need another one like that. You might not be able to sell it fast because of the nature of the repairs. Or if you sell it fast, you're gonna have to potentially sell it at a lower cost. So fast process, yeah, it is a possibility with an as is home. Again, all this is subjective to finding the right buyer.
Yeah. And another thing that Mike just mentioned, another con, is unknown costly repairs. So let me throw this in. No matter what, even with an as-is home where you do not expect to negotiate repairs, as a buyer, always get a home inspection. You know, that's always advised. You get a home inspection. Admittedly, my experience as a real estate agent has been when I represent an investor, most investors do not get a typical home inspection, like the ones that cost $400 and up. You know, they don't get the typical home inspection. They normally will get their contractor who they're familiar with to just walk the house with them and tell me, what do you think? How much do you think this will cost? This and that. But even if you were to get a licensed home inspector to do a full-blown home inspection, there are still repairs. There's still a possibility of hidden repairs.
It is.
Like, for instance, we had an experience where
I got you.
Okay.
I got you. So like, you get in this house, it's an as-is house, and you want to tear down some walls. You start pulling the sheetrock back, and you recognize that there's some faulty wiring, that there's some termite damage, and the extent of the termite damage is far greater than what you thought. You may thought it was on one 2x4, but it's maybe potentially half the wall. So now you got to replace all of that and then go back into fixing what you want to fix. So you got to take that cost. If it's a wall that's coming down, that may be all right, but if it's something that you that you're just trying to design the house around, you're ripping out cabinets and you realize, hey, there's a plumbing leak. You walk through a floor and it's kind of spongy, and you realize that the floor joists rotted out. Like, you got to go in and replace that. And a lot of that you don't start finding out until you start moving things around and tearing stuff out and be like, okay, yeah. Now, if you're just one of those people that is going into a house, all you're trying to do is slap a coat of paint, replace a few fixtures here, a few fixtures there, you might not find these things. That's not the right way to do it. The best way to do it is to make sure that you have someone licensed go through their home and check out all of the components of it, the plumbing, the electrical, the HVAC, the roof, the foundation, and things of that nature, to make sure there aren't any hidden issues that need to be addressed, because if not, those things could come back on you.
And even if you do choose to get licensed contractors, licensed home inspector, whomever, to check out those things, it's still a possibility. You know,
might not find everywhere.
Yeah, because like Mike said, some things you won't find until you find yourself tearing down a wall, or going behind the sheetrock. There are just some things you will not find until you tear through it. And unfortunately, tearing through sheetrock is not always the case when updating a home. And so sometimes you won't find the issue until the buyer is in the home. It's just, there are a lot of risks with buying an as-is home, especially those with major issues. And that is why you will find that when selling a home as is with major issues, that's why you will find buyers, mostly investors, will come down off of your listed price so substantially, because they're not only factoring in the obvious repairs that are needed, they are factoring in those potential things that are hidden.
Yeah, we
those
call it the contingencies.
Yes, those contingencies.
Because every home has them. You need to have that cushion.
Yeah. And with those hidden repairs, sometimes along with that could come health hazards, like mold. You may find black mold. You may find, I know we have walked through homes before, just in showing homes that are on the fixer-upper in that's
Mm-hmm.
not livable. It's
Mm-hmm.
not move-in ready. We may walk in and it be a horrible smell, and it smells like a toxin, something that you probably need to be wearing a mask for. So if you watch HGTV, you may have seen them walk through a home and they say, I need to get a mask. It's not always just the funk of a home that's been sitting. It could be some sort of toxin. It could be mold or whatever. So you're dealing with again risk of an as-is home in need of major repair.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about last week, just obviously when it comes to financing on the buyer side, every bit of financing won't be approved.
Yep.
It's basically conventional.
Yep.
And conventional loans and cash. Basically non-government backed loans and cash, because those government backed loans will require the home be
in a certain condition.
And I think what we want to another con, at least when it comes to the buyer side, a lot of times when a home is sold as is, the stuff comes with it. In other words, it may let's give the scenario of a person who is deceased, and so the family is trying to sell their home, which we've been in this situation. And let's just say that family member or the family who's trying to sell the home, they have no need for the things that's in the home, so the things will come with it. It could be a plus for the buyer, or it may not be. It may be more of a hassle for the buyer to have to move those things out of the home. Now for the seller, though, that's a plus. Many times in selling a home as is, that means everything with it. You want to buy this home, you're going to take everything with it, and it'll be the responsibility of the buyer to move those things out of the home, or to do to dump those things, whatever you want to do. Why are you looking like that?
Oh, no, I'm just saying, it could be a bunch of stuff. It could be dumpsters of stuff.
Multiple dumpsters.
That you will have to remove. Now, for me, I almost don't mind that. I just usually don't have the time to go through those homes, because you never know what you may find.
Some sort of treasure?
Yeah, some sort of treasure, some sort of knickknack, something that you may be able to use. I know in one home I found like a drill that's like super powerful, and some tools and some other stuff, and I like, oh, okay, this is score. I like, man, I can use all of this, and it came with the house, so it didn't cost me nothing.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can find some good stuff, and then sometimes you can find some stuff that you can truly be a blessing to somebody else. Sometimes people leave whole
furniture sets,
houses, a whole house of furniture.
Oh yeah.
Like you have the whole living room set, the whole dining room set, beds, and all that other stuff that someone who may be going through a hard time would appreciate, and you can donate that stuff and give it to them. So sometimes inheriting the stuff is not terrible, but it is inconvenient at times. Yeah.
I think the last things we want to leave you with is, don't forget, as a seller, you are obligated to disclose any known material defects when it comes to your home. If you whatever you are aware of, in other words, those things, those significant issues that can impact the value of that home to a buyer. If that the home, certain plumbing issues that the home has, you need to disclose it. That the roof has a leak or leaks in certain portions of the roof. You need to disclose that. Whatever known defects that will impact the value of this home, or even the safety of the home for a buyer, you should disclose that. Or you could face potential legal ramifications in the future. I am not a lawyer. We are not lawyers. So, you can consult a lawyer, but I am telling you, as a real estate agent, that is one thing we have to inform our clients about, our seller clients. You need to give full disclosure. And plus, it's just the fair, honest thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that.
Yeah, and I was gonna also say she said it from the seller side, but also from a buyer side. If you're buying an as-is home, do your homework.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good deal. Sometimes you can find one if the numbers work. You can buy it sight unseen or with little to no research, but that's not always advisable. But so if you're a buyer and you're considering getting an as-is home, like do your homework. Like she said earlier, like Jessica said earlier, get you an inspection. Um, Try to. You might not want them to repair anything, but that would be your opportunity to walk away from the deal.
Yeah.
Should it be something that the inspector finds that you didn't see when you walked the house in the beginning?
Yeah, because you can submit an offer even though the home is being sold as is, knowing that the seller is not willing to do any repairs, you can still submit an offer with a certain price and any other terms contingent upon a home inspection satisfactory to you as the buyer. So like Mike said that is what can help that's what can help you walk away from a deal where you find later, oh, this is not what I thought. So get your home inspection or walk it through with a specific or specialized licensed inspectors. Walk it through with a specialized HVAC person, a specialized roof person. So even if you don't get a general home inspector, walk it through with someone you trust. I think that's all. Can you think of anything else?
No, not off the top of my head.
I think we hit a lot between last week and this week.
Yeah. Basically, it could be good. It could be bad. It's always dependent upon the home and the individual and your risk appetite.
Risk appetite.
Do your homework. Do your due diligence. Even as selling it, do your homework. Do your due diligence. Be flexible, be negotiable, because you know you're not willing to do any repairs unless you have what we call a move-in ready home, which you still may have to come down off your price a little because you're not willing to do any repairs. But yeah, depending on what are you willing to give up, what are you willing to endure, and as this home could be a good purchase or it could be a nightmare. But you will have to do your own homework to determine if it is.
Awesome. We thank y'all so much for joining us for part 2.
Part 2.
And we hope it's been very helpful to you.
Yeah.
Feel free to leave us comments. Yeah. But as always and in everything, keep pushing forward. Know that God is with you. So because of Him, you'll have the strength to keep pushing forward. We love you and pray that you have an awesome weekend. We'll see you later.